Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are back from our hiatus because our man, the Reverend, has a phone made from 1999. It's okay. I think he's getting it fixed, but it works now, right?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, if I had a 1999 phone, it probably worked better. Those Nokia phones were fucking indestructible.
At this point,
Yeah.
I feel like we should just go back to those phones and have burner phones so we can just text from those and have like the group chat from there. Just be like, "Are you ready?" Like send out a mass signal. Just be like, "Are you ready?" And then we all just jump on our laptops like hackers.
You just
Yeah.
wanted to say burner phone, don't lie.
I mean, is it bad that I wanted to say burner phone?
Do you
No,
have
not
a
at
burner
all.
phone?
Irrelevant to the conversation. Erroneous on all accounts. But ladies and gentlemen, it is your boys from Five Holers once again. I am your host, Michael the Pharaoh Shanuti, and always I am with the dynamic duo that is Smokey the Bear, all the way at the bottom
Oh,
of the
shit.
screen.
Wow, got a new nickname, man.
No,
Yeah.
one of the nicknames. A new man in a scene where he loves to be in the outdoors. The Walrus. How we doing, Zach?
Doing well. Just hanging out here in Woodbridge, Virginia, enjoying the beautiful day that we got.
Yes. And the
Yeah, it
man
was
of
nice
the
there.
hour, too sweet to be sour, wearing his Jets jersey because they made the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Going
Hey,
all the
baby,
way.
the Reverend Jeff. How we feeling, baby?
Great, man. Like you said, Jets have a chance to win it all.
Hey, man. Listen.
Do they really, though?
Well, I mean, doesn't 23 other teams have a chance to win it all, too?
I don't know. I
Technically,
think
yes.
there's technically yes. We'll go technically yes.
Technically, they all have. It's like that Dumb and Dumber meme is like. So you're telling me I have a chance?
Yeah, exactly.
That's Rod Brindamore actually saying it.
But boys, let's go. Let's talk about what's going on right now. I know right now our country is very divided in certain situations. We won't get into it politically. We won't get it into how. I mean, we all live in places that have had protests or riots against like racism and stuff like that. So. But we will stick to hockey and we will stick to one major story of racism and misogyny as well. Zach, a Caps player, had his little run-in with this, huh?
Yeah, so Brendan Leipzig, who was formerly of the Washington Capitals, he was released by the team after the events that I'm about to describe. He was actually doxxed in a group chat that he was in on Instagram that was full of a bunch of bigoted shit that he was saying about people like Connor McDavid's wife and other people in the league. And this is coming from a fourth liner. This is coming from someone who has barely had a shot in the league, who's been through 5 teams in 5 years, 5 different contracts. And but yeah, so you can go and look at the messages yourself and see what kind of stuff was going on in that group chat. But it was some pretty hairy, bigoted shit. And not to mention the fact that there was also discussions of cocaine usage in the group chat as well. So there was definitely a lot going on, and just a lot that it really kind of brought forth a lot of things that I think have been going on in the hockey world for a very long time that a lot of people have been ignoring. And it really is just it's symptomatic of a larger problem in the league, if you ask me. Jeff, did you manage to read the tweets and everything that went along with this?
I remember seeing them a while back, like when it all broke out on Instagram. And yeah, I mean, it was pretty fucked up, some of the stuff he was saying. I didn't realize that was McDavid's wife he was talking about. I
Yeah.
didn't know McDavid was married, I guess.
Unbelievable. That's the one thing that I was like, whoa.
Yeah. But yeah, the what he was saying, yeah, definitely. I mean, he did it to himself. And like you said, he was a fourth liner. Why? These are the guys who are like trying to get on the team. You do everything possible, and it's like all you had to do is shut your mouth. You did it to yourself, man. You've had issues being bounced around the league, like you said. I mean, he's been in almost at everything at this point on in the league, and yeah, I think this is it for him.
Well, I'm glad that the Caps released them. That's the biggest thing. Like, I'm glad they didn't try. I mean, obviously, it's a fourth liner. Would they have done the same thing if it was like a Backstrom and an OV kind of status player? I don't know. But what he was saying was kind of fucked up in the sense of like, he's like, oh, it's hockey talk. It's hockey talk, all this shit. I mean, like, I mean, there is hockey talk. Like if I was like playing against you guys and I was like, "Oh, I fucked your mother," but like I'm not gonna tweet it and stuff like that.
Whoa! What'd you say about my mother?
Your mother's a saint. I would never actually do that.
You know what? While we're on this right now, I want to go ahead and say happy birthday to my mom. Today is her birthday, so just gonna throw that out there.
Happy birthday.
But yeah, no, him saying that it was just locker room talk, I think, is inexcusable. And there's a difference between locker room talk and there's a difference between what's right and wrong. And I think that he really didn't toe the line there, and he just didn't know what he was doing. And I think that he really just was banking on the fact that he didn't think that any of this was ever actually going to come to public light. And then someone managed to get into that group chat and released all of it.
Well, do you think it was because it was released to the public that, like, he got let go, or do you think it was, like, they found this out around the same time and then, like, released it?
Dude, the way it was released, I think that the Caps were unaware of it until it hit Instagram.
Okay.
I think correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't really know him as well as Zach does, but he wasn't that good of a player. I mean, at the first place, like, he was going back and forth between the AHL and the NHL as well.
Yeah, he was a scratch guy. He played on our fourth line. He definitely brought a lot of energy. He was a fast little skater. He had hands made of fucking stone though, which did him absolutely no favors. But he's someone who was going to be a career bubble player, who was always going to be someone who wasn't necessarily going to be he was going to be a bottom six player and someone who was going to be going back and forth between an AHL team and an NHL team on a pretty consistent basis. And so that's kind of what the role he played. I mean, I was always kind of on the fence about him, and then all this shit happened, and it was pretty easy to make a decision how I felt about him.
Easy money. I mean, like, what better way to make a decision than you posting something about somebody else's wife? Like, god damn it, dude. Like, I understand, like, you thought the messages were gonna be like confidential, quote unquote. But nowadays, with hackers and all that shit, anybody can find out anything. I bet you they can find pictures of, like, all of us as kids that we didn't want to see, or like tweets we came up with that we didn't want to tweet. Like, come on, man. Like, it's 2020. The world's at shit, and you couldn't think that your group chat wasn't going to get compromised. I don't understand.
You think it's because it's like we're all in lockdown type of thing right now that he's just going crazy and texting people all this random shit? He's going to try to blame me on the pandemic.
I'm surprised he did it.
Man, it just causes you to go and say the stupid shit.
What if he was power ranking every NHL player's wife, and McDavid's wife wasn't hot, and that's what he was saying? He's just like, she doesn't make the top 25 like in college football. It's like, well, you got to give him a reason. Like,
I think that would be completely different than what he actually said about his wife.
No, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't like, oh, she was ugly. Didn't he call her a pig or something like that, or like a fat pig?
No, apparently Connor McDavid's wife is part, what do they call them in Canada? Part First Nation, and he made a derogatory comment about her being a native.
Oh.
Which I'm not even sure if what I just said was politically correct or not, but at the same time, that was.
We want to preface that we're reading off tweets. We don't feel any way towards anybody except for chicken wings, where we destroy them, and we call.
Oh man, I miss chicken wings.
And then they destroy you.
They destroy me internally. I think. Listen, I have a gutter palate. I have a gutter stomach. No wings can destroy me. Thank the Lord, knock on wood, because I should be dead. I should be dead. Nobody should have food poisoning as much as I did and still be alive. So, speaking of food poisoning or poison in general, some of these teams with this new format can still not break their fucking droughts, aka the Sabres, the Buffalo Sabres. Jack Eichel came out saying he was fed up. He was just like, fuck this. He's like, I can't believe this. I cannot believe we missed the playoffs again. After what happened last year with their hot start, after what happened this year with their, I guess, hot start, quote unquote. I don't know. But
hot streak.
But boys, Jeff, I'll start with you. Like, Buffalo, Detroit, but Buffalo more than anything, because that is just the conversation starter. Well, like, how would you feel? Like, they've been talking about like a bright future for a while, and a lot of people are fed up. So,
Yeah, I mean, I can understand being fed up, but don't sign that type of contract that he signed. Like, he had a chance to get out of there.
bingo.
And he's still got like 5 years left on this deal. So, I mean, don't sit there and bitch about it. You got to do something about it now. I mean, like you said, the last 2 years, they've had streaks where they've been one of the top teams in the league for like a month max, like, and then they fall apart. And every team has streaks during the season. The good teams are able to consistently have these streaks in there, and they just seem to have that one like good time, and it's normally early in the season, and then they completely fall apart. They, I think we said Ristolainen also spoke out about this, and it's like it's not good when it's your top offensive and defensive players that are fed up with this situation. But again, it's like I don't get what happens to players when they go to Buffalo. It's Skinner fell apart this year, didn't do shit this year for the team. Okposo hasn't been doing as well, and these players were really good for their teams before they went there. I don't know if it's something about the environment being in Buffalo or whatever, but you think the lack of being able to do anything in the city would make you want to go and focus on the team, but I guess that's not the case. I mean, it seems normal, and it just really shows how bad you are. 24 out of 31 teams make it, and you're one of the 7 sitting out. Like,
that's crazy. Ristolainen said it best. It's like he's been there for 7 years, saying like, he's like, yeah, they've been talking about a bright future, and it's been a bright future for 7 years now. When the fuck is it gonna happen? It's like, and then you're right. Eichel basically signed his deal. Like, it's like a cruise ship captain signing the contract right after the Titanic went down. It's like, you know what's going to happen, right?
Well, it won't happen twice, right?
It won't happen twice. Whoops.
7 years in a row later.
It's like, come on, man. It's like, especially with Buffalo, because their coach is good. Like, their GM is trying. Like, I guess you're right. Maybe it is the environment in Buffalo. You can't do a lot. Maybe it's the Bills. Maybe the Bills are taking all the talent away from the Buffalo area. So I don't know.
They both had that one time last year, I think it was last year, where they were both doing well, where the Sabres were on like a 13-game win streak, and then the Bills were doing well, and you'd see people at Bills games with Sabres jerseys, and it's like, wow, this is going to turn around for the city, and oh wait, back to reality.
Exactly, and they both went downhill. Well, Buffalo Bills made it to the playoffs, Zach, but they got curb stomped by Houston. Just to watch. Zach didn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though, with, like, the Bills. I mean, you look at it, they've been in the same situation as the Sabres are in now, where it's, like, this long-ass streak of never making it back to the playoffs, and then, finally do it. And, I mean, that'll be the next step for the Sabres before they get beat in the playoffs, but I feel like that's way down the line for them. Like, if you can't make it when over the majority of the league made the playoffs this year.
That's the thing that's crazy to me. It's like, if not now, when? You know what I'm talking about? And that's what I want to ask you, Zach, is, like, what needs to happen for the Sabres to be one of those teams again and especially with a guy like Eichel, who's a top player in the league, like, what do they need to do to surround him so they can be a top team in like a Stanley Cup playoff scenario?
They need to stop trading away their first and second round picks for fucking people who are in the middle of their goddamn careers.
I think we talk about it all the time, right? Is like, when we, like, case in point this year, like Jack Hughes didn't do shit. Who else? Kopo didn't do shit, right? They haven't done great this year, have they?
Not really, but those were 1 and 2 picks, like,
exactly. So it's like, I mean, like, you could preface it by saying, like, young players don't come on quickly, but at the same time, you need young players, because who knows what they're going to do next year. You know what I mean? I think Hughes is going to have a good year next year. And I think that's the thing I'm talking about with Buffalo, is like, they don't want to waste time and develop, which I don't
know.
How many years ago was Dahlin drafted? Wasn't he like number 1 overall for them?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, they have that, but then it's been like years since they've had a top round pick too. So
and so it's basically dug your own grave, and you wanna hold on to those streaks we were talking about, and you're like, oh, there's no problem. It's just we hit a road bump here and there. Shut up. If you know, pave that fucking unpaved road, you fucks. God,
This is the time to do it when no one's on the roads. Come on, go out there, babe.
I'm paying you tax dollars. I'm actually mad about it. I'm talking about the war now and the taxes and all this big T technology, all at the same time. Fuck everything. Especially Buffalo.
How many wars?
2 wars. We're fighting 2 wars. One on U.S. soil, aka the Buffalo Sabres and the Detroit Red Wings. Fuck the Detroit Red Wings for making me look like an asshole.
Well, let's be honest.
Eliminated on both ends of this.
They were eliminated before any coronavirus. Like, that is crazy. How does that happen?
Yeah, they can't kind of blame this whole situation. Like, they were going to turn it around or had a chance. I mean, it was like Ottawa. Ottawa was only a few games away from being eliminated before the coronavirus hit, too.
Yeah.
I read a statistic today about Jimmy Howard. Jimmy Howard is going to go down as one of the 6 worst goaltenders in NHL history as far as seasons are concerned, for only winning 2 of 25 games that he started this year. Like, it's a statistical anomaly that he only won 2 out of 25 he started.
God.
Wow.
So much stock in the Detroit Red Wings.
Were any against Montreal? Yeah, how do you feel about that one, Nudie? Montreal is in the playoffs as a 12 seed, even though they got swept by Detroit this year.
Hey, that's one thing they can hang their cap on, is that they swept the fucking Stanley Cup playoff team, I guess. Now,
well, is that really saying anything when, again, 24 teams made the playoffs?
No,
I guess the fact they swept anyone is a shock.
God damn it. Like, especially now that we can, we look at it now, it's like, shit, like, those teams really need to look themselves in the eye and be like, wow, we really missed the playoffs because we were that bad. It's like, fuck.
Well, do you think any of them are going to trade now? Because they said that the 7 teams that missed the playoffs can trade between them and, like, make moves between them now. Like, their offseason has started.
I didn't see that news.
I can see the Ducks try to trade people away. Maybe the Kings.
Like, it just seems like, a lot of these teams are going to be rebuilding. Maybe Buffalo, I guess, takes another shot at another person in the middle of their career, gives up their first rounder again.
So wait,
I feel like the Devils aren't going to be looking to add players at this point. I mean, if anything, they're trying to move people like PK.
We were all wrong about the Devils because Taylor Hall. Well, now Taylor Hall is in the playoffs, but we thought he'd be in the playoffs with the New Jersey Devils, not with the Coyotes. So it's like,
and they barely made it too. They were 11 seed, right?
Yeah, I think they were 11 seed. The 12 seed was
Chicago.
So let's just transition into that. So the 2014 playoff is pretty much set. 12 team.
There's still a couple hurdles to get through here.
What with that?
Well, yeah, I mean they still don't have everything. Like, I mean, it's been approved by both sides, but they still have to work out some other things. I mean, like the rest of the pay for the season and stuff. Like,
when it's going to happen.
Yeah, when it's going to happen and stuff like that. I mean, baseball had that hiccup where they had everything basically set up, and then the players didn't agree with it, and now there's not a chance that the baseball players are coming back. If there's a 2020 season, it's going to be scrubs or scabs coming through.
Yeah, but with the hockey one, I thought it was just like, we're just going to pay you out kind of thing. I thought Bateman said he was going to pay him out for the rest of the season, and then it's like the playoffs.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear anything about the payment, so.
I heard the payment thing. For baseball, it's different because baseball, with all their baseball is basically like, let's just call a whale a whale. All right, it literally it's eating up all the krill and not letting anybody else eat. That's what the baseball players are mad about, is because you're telling them to take a pay cut because the owners don't want to pay them their full salaries for a full season.
Yeah, but the issue here, though, with hockey, though, too, is, and all sports in general, is you're not going to be making the money at the gate, and hockey is like the one that relies on it the most because it doesn't have the broadcasting rights that baseball and football and basketball have. So the league as a whole is going to take a hit. I mean, maybe they're able to get out of it by paying them out for the rest of this season, but then next season there's going to be a huge hit to the salary cap.
Oh,
Yeah.
At some point, this is going to take a huge hit on the league as a whole.
So next season, is next season going to be shortened, you guys think? Or do you think they're just going to start back on time? Because I don't think – I
don't think they could start back on time if they wanted to.
Yeah, because, let's be realistic. Once they pick those sites, right, it's 6 or 7 sites now that are up for grabs for the 2014 playoff. It's they start realistically
2014.
24 what?
Did you say 2014?
No, I said 2014 playoff team. I got tongue tied because I can't. 2014 playoff right now still seems weird to me, but it's what the fuck. Realistically, they'll probably start mid-July, right? Once they figure everything out.
That's when they're talking about letting players start coming back to training, as a whole team on the ice.
Yeah,
right.
I don't think we see a hockey game until August, at least, if not September.
So, what do you think? The Stanley Cup will be played in October?
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. I don't know. I saw rumors that they said they want to start next season with the Winter Classic next year. So we would actually have a season that would be encapsulated in one calendar year next year.
That'd be interesting. That'd be kind of cool though to start it off with the Winter Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. It's when a lot of sports do that. So I think the Winter Classic would be sick. Plus, that will actually help with hockey in general because everybody talks about how hockey is kind of long, not long as baseball, but if it's a short season.
Long as basketball. I mean, both of them are 82 games long.
Yeah, but like you said, it's on different broadcast networks. Plus,
yeah.
And it's hockey for us. Hockey, I can only see when they do the Wednesday hockey shit and then the Caps game. But
right, you get the local broadcast and then the couple of Wednesday night rivalries and then the occasional NBC game on a Saturday or something.
Yeah.
Plus, am I ever gonna watch the Coyotes? I feel like I never
when they play the Caps.
When they play the Caps, that's it. I never watch the Coyotes. I never see the I guess not a lot of the Canadian teams or even I guess I see Nashville once in a while, but I'm talking about those small market teams that I'll never see. So it's
no, because the Wednesday night rivalry games or the NBC random Saturday games tend to be the big teams. The Chicagos, the Phillies, the Pittsburghs, the Rangers, the Caps.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does suck from that point of view of not being able to see the smaller markets that, can be just as good.
Couldn't watch the Battle of Alberta this year or something like that,
Right. Well, maybe next year because of how big it was this year with those great games that were there. And that's the thing is we miss out when those big games happen, and then they're like, well, next year we should put that on here, type of thing. And it's okay.
Tempers cool off, and that's the end of it. And all of a sudden, you just have a crappy Wednesday night rivalry game that no one gives a shit about.
Also, the fact that they call all of them Wednesday night rivalries and some of them have no rivalry whatsoever make no sense to me. Oh yeah, here's the Coyotes versus the Stars. It's when was that ever a rivalry?
The one that I fucking die at every time and I still laugh at was I was watching Sunday Night Football and they were Wednesday night rivalry and it was New York against Boston, which was good, and then it was Caps against the LA Knights and I was or LA Kings and I was what? I was when are we ever rivals with the Kings? What the fuck? I was
yeah, there's not enough rivalries for them to call it that every week, but I guess that's their shtick and they're sticking to it.
I guess, yeah. They always put Caps Penguins, but it's just you can't fill a calendar year with just us against the Penguins.
Right. Especially when they stuck them all in the last 2 months or 2 of the last 4 months of the season. I mean, because we never even got the Caps Penguins the second 2 games of it, did we?
No, we got the first 2, and that was it.
Yeah, and that's the issue with them putting it all on the back end of the schedule. It would have been great because those are 2 teams that are always playoff bound, but now you have this. I mean, come on, who didn't see this coming?
Unbelievable. But do you guys think this is going to be a good playoff scenario? I know now that, and one of the things that goes through my mind when I'm watching this is they gave the President's Cup to the Boston Bruins, but they still won't be. There's still a chance that they won't be the number 1 seed in their own conference. It's is this going to be a great playoff format, or is this going to be something that we're going to just absolutely not enjoy the same way that we enjoyed the previous format?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think that with the potential to have all these upsets with these lower seed teams doing these plans, it's going to be interesting. You know, a team like Carolina all of a sudden has a chance at something that they didn't have a chance at before. You know, they're playing the fucking Rangers, and I think between them and the Rangers, one of those teams could actually go deep if they put their mind to it. They both have plenty of young talent. They both have plenty left in the tank for the rest of the season. So I can see it being a pretty interesting scenario.
Well, that's one of the teams that Carolina struggled with this year was the Rangers. I think they were like
Yeah.
the only team that they have like losing record to, and it's like they kind of got shafted from that point of view because they did have a good season, but I think it's going to be entertaining to watch just because there's going to be so many games. It'll be like March Madness type of thing where you're going to see hockey nonstop. I mean, I think they were talking about like 3 games a day or so. And between the two places, I mean, there's obviously going to be one East and one West Coast hub for these games. So it'll be interesting from that point of view. I mean, that we'll be seeing stuff. And like you said, there's going to be a lot of upsets just because of there's so many teams and like no one knows how anyone's going to be. You could have come into this you could be Boston coming into this, and then all of a sudden your team can't click in this like couple weeks of getting back together and stuff. I mean, it's been so long since they've played a game. I feel like the whole regular season's thrown out the window and it's just like a free for all at this point. But I mean, there's going to be an asterisk next to whoever wins this. It's going to be the Corona Cup champions, not the Stanley Cup champions.
And that's
not
what
the same.
It's like, are we actually going to crown a winner and be like, oh, this was the winner? Like, this is like you said, it's just like, but like somebody said it, I forgot who it was. I got to look up the quote, but it was one of the players saying this is going to be real interesting for the teams that really haven't played together that long. Like we talked about the Coyotes with Kessel and like Taylor just joining the team not too long ago. Like I know the Caps have a bunch of players that we traded for. I don't know how Winnipeg is doing with their teams, but like
I mean, Gordy just got there not too long before they froze the season.
So it's like those teams with veteran leadership and veteran, like I guess chemistry. Maybe that's what's going to give them an advantage more than just like, oh, we're a better team. So it's like, what team I brought up the Coyotes and you guys brought up like the Rangers and all those teams. Like, what team do you think has that magical run in them to go from a team that shouldn't have made the playoffs to maybe a team we see in the conference finals or the Stanley Cup finals? I think it might be the Coyotes, in my opinion, for the West. I think the Coyotes have that chip on their shoulder, and Taylor Hall is a great player, and our boy Phil takes them all the way. So I'm with the Phil train. So.
And they're wearing those jerseys.
Yep. If they're bringing back,
they are all home games. They're wearing those jerseys.
Yeah, it's time. It's time to fire up the 5 horse.
Zach broke up. Zach. We lost Zach. Zach. Come back, buddy.
You guys froze first.
You're still frozen.
This is great radio right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Huh?
Hey, it happens during these Corona times.
Yo, this is the quarantine tapes. We're not cutting shit, so that's gonna be in there, baby.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. God damn it! I had to get out of the fucking hammock. I was laying in the hammock, relaxing, enjoying myself, doing the podcast, and then I cut out, and I had to get out of the fucking hammock. Now I'm sitting in a camping chair.
Well, what were you trying to say? Were you trying to say something about the
jersey? Wait, you didn't pick it up?
Yeah, I was saying it's time to fire up the 5 Holders expense account and get us some jerseys, man.
I told Jeff this the other day. We are gonna get them, and then we'll get stickers and patch them. And Jeff is going to, if Pittsburgh's one of the sites, he's going there with sex dolls as his like +2.
No, because people aren't going to be able to go to these. So I assume that they're going to have the mannequins in the stands, and based off of the Korean Baseball League, they're going to have sex dolls too in the stands. So
I mean, they're realistic.
Yeah, and then I was going to take some 4-holer 4 corner patches and put them over the tits of the sex dolls, and we could have one of the mannequins doing the thing from the Stanley Cup with Obi there flashing the fans.
Oh, yeah.
4 corners,
Great
5
idea.
polars.
We'll get the 4 corners patch, and then at the bottom we'll get you guys pins, and it will say the 5 holers, 5 holer podcast, and then have our faces like our nicknames.
I'm down with that.
Listen,
That sounds good to me.
China's in disarray, so I bet you those Chinese jerseys are going to come in real quick. So
Hey, I mean, last I saw it said it was going to be like 3-4 weeks. So who knows? Based off with the playoffs, it could still get here in time.
we'll order them, and they'll be here next playoffs probably at this rate.
Hey,
But-
he'll be there when it gets close to the cup, and Phil's still alive there.
Oh my
So-
god!
So another team I think could make a run is Chicago. If we talk about a team that's been together in like the leadership and stuff, I mean, I really want to see Chicago and Montreal both win one round just to be like, fuck everyone with this. The 12 seeds can pull off something, but yeah, I don't know. I could see them doing something, not making a real run, but winning a round.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Who are they playing first?
They play. They play Edmonton, so yeah, very very reasonable.
Very
pick there
possible.
today. Yeah, and Florida plays the Rangers. It'd be good to see the Panthers pull something out.
I thought
Or,
the Rangers were playing the
Islanders,
Hurricanes.
my mistake. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
New York team.
What about you, Zach? Which team do you think is going to make a run?
Oh, I hate to say it, but I think the goddamn Hurricanes are going to make a run this year again. I think that the bunch of jerks are going to be back out in full force, unfortunately, being pieces of shit. They're not going to win the cup, though.
I'd be
Fuck
fine
that.
seeing them make a run.
I'm going to make the rally pig into fucking bacon. Fuck their little rally fucking pig. Fuck him.
I mean, did he survive this whole thing?
At
And
this
did his namesake, how is Dougie Hamilton doing? Because obviously he was named after the pig, right?
Oh,
Yes.
that Dougie Hamilton is in shambles. This man
Well,
is
that was before this whole thing.
I'm just by context clues, my man is a pigeon and he is now destroyed.
What?
Yeah, he's a pigeon, aka government drone. I found out he was a government drone and I destroyed him.
He didn't glue a cowboy hat to his head.
Howdy, partner. And he just can't pull it off. But
Are we still talking about the mascot, the pig? Or
yeah,
Did
Oh,
we
I was
venture
talking
away
about-
from that point?
I heard pigeons, so I assume that's what.
I was calling Dougie Hamilton, the real Doug Hamilton, a pigeon. I'm talking about the pig being made into bacon or ham. I kind of like ham now, so I'm gonna use him as ham.
Yeah, rum ham.
Rum ham, baby. But in a realistic setting, who's winning the Stanley Cup now in this format? I think, and we can't pick our teams. I want to hear the Caps, but the Caps could win it. But in my opinion, I think it's not going to be the Jets. I'm sorry, it won't be the Jets.
The other Atlanta team, you gonna pick the Flames?
The Flames at this point, but I think it might be the Blues again. I think the Blues have a chance. Blues are, like we said, a team with chemistry, a team that has a lot of experience to do things out of the ordinary. I feel like the Blues have that chance, and I'm gonna say the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean,
Damn it. You walked on my point, like you always do.
Zach, go ahead. Go with the Lightning then. I won't walk on your point.
I am going with the Lightning. I'm going with the Lightning or Boston, I think, this year. Caps excluded, obviously. I think the Caps have another shot this year. So,
Yeah, I mean, speaking of teams that have been together forever, I'm with you. I think Boston, once again, is in the Stanley Cup Finals. As much as I would fucking hate that, and also assume that somehow Marchand doesn't get suspended for licking everyone again. But
Imagine him licking somebody in this climate.
yeah. Well, then he just doesn't believe in the coronavirus, right?
I don't think he believes in a lot of things. I don't believe he believes in anything. I feel like he goes into a bathhouse and prays to some random god.
big rat.
Just a big.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the year of the rat, so I guess they're not going to win it. So maybe Colorado from the West. I think the West is pretty wide open, though. I mean, like you said, that you can't rule out the Blues because they just won it. But I feel like looking at the teams that are there in the West, it's really a free for all.
No, I mean, this is the biggest like question. Like, I just don't know how it's gonna happen. Like, I wish, like, I can't go off of somebody who's hot. Like, we usually do. It's like, oh, this team is coming in hot. This team is sandbagging coming into the playoffs because they're all sandbagging now. So
well, and the only team you can really count out is Minnesota because it's the playoffs. They don't win in the playoffs, regardless of if it's good or not.
Minnesota, and I'm going to add another one. I feel like the Jackets. I feel like they just don't win anything.
Well, but then here's the thing with the Jackets. Who was it? I wrote it down. Foligno was saying about players possibly not coming back because they don't feel safe and that they're going to be away from their family and stuff. Do we think that teams may be short players, and especially ones like Foligno that are big to the organization? I mean, because with these two hubs, the players are going to have to be in these cities for God knows how long before the playoffs start. Because, I mean, if they go to Canada, there's still that 14-day quarantine. Quarantine before you can interact with anyone. So you'd have to be there and if it's in the States, who knows, like if they say, okay, we want, a couple days a week or whatever, you have to be there away from everyone and then be there for the start of the playoffs. Do players skip out on this?
I mean, it depends. That's what we're talking about, compensation, right? I feel like if they get compensated well enough, plus the testing is there, which Bateman was talking about like later today, was like they get tested daily. I mean, they just want to feel safe, and I understand that. So I feel like if they get paid handsomely and getting tested normal, like as much as I see the UFC doing it, which is like every day, literally every single fucking day, which is what I could see happening, then yeah, I think the players should play. But I mean, at the end of the day, who's really going to make Ovi or Crosby or Malkin or any of these players really play? They're on their own. So, but if a player like a four stringer saying I'm not playing, then they just get cut. So it's like,
yeah. I mean, I could see more the bubble players being the ones who show up because this is your chance. I mean, in the playoffs every year, there's someone who makes a name. I mean, would we have known about Andy Shaw if it wasn't for that run with Chicago? I mean, he came out of nowhere. And
I still fucking hate Andrew Shaw, too. I'm just going to put that out there.
I bet you do.
I became a big fan of him during that run. So
of course you did, Jeff. He seems like your kind of guy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just playing for I'm not getting other teams' jerseys, so except for Bill.
Unbelievable. But it should be fun. We'll see how it goes. I think having hockey back will definitely help a lot of leagues figure it out, especially the MLB, NBA, and the NFL. But boys, I'm just happy that we're back recording, and I'm happy to say one of us is engaged. Zach.
Congrats, Zach.
From here at Four Corners and the Five Holers, we wish you and Ashley well, my man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And we're gonna make sure that you die on your bachelor party. So.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm fully counting on you two to make sure it's a shit show. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, and it won't be from coronavirus. Don't worry.
You ever like the opening scene of The Hangover, and I'm the one calling Ashley and being like, "We fucked up," and we'll find you on a roof, and then, but Jeff will definitely be the one who got the roof in. So.
And instead of Mike Tyson, it'll be Evander Kane, and it'll be a hockey themed. It'll be Tom Wilson. My mistake. You're a Caps fan. We'll make this right.
I will punch Tom Wilson. I will get in a fight with Tom Wilson.
I appreciate that. That's sweet of you, Shanuti.
Of course.
Don't get him suspended before the playoffs.
In Vegas, yeah, we'll definitely get Tom Wilson suspended before the playoffs. And I'll be hated, and I'll have to move, and I'll probably have to move back to Indianapolis at that point because everybody will. Because
you gonna last more than a month this time?
Probably not. I'll probably. You know what? I'm just gonna go back. I know I can last more than a month in Ohio, so I'll go to Ohio.
All right. I don't You must be the only person who could last longer in Ohio than Indiana.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. But at least Cleveland is a little bit better than Indianapolis, I feel. Right?
Whoa. What's that in the background too? You got a Steelers fathead, and you're going and saying Cleveland's a better city than anything?
Than Indianapolis. Not anything. Pittsburgh is a great city.
Yeah. But I mean, outside of Detroit, isn't that their theme song? We're not Detroit, or isn't that what it says when you go into Cleveland?
We're not.
That's pretty much all they have going on is they're not Detroit.
Plus they
have 2 buildings.
Yeah.
What?
Cleveland? And they still have payphones.
Yeah, Cleveland has 2 buildings. That's their big thing. They're not Detroit, and they have 2 buildings.
Oh, and the river catches on fire.
Oh yeah, well that's normal there though. That's just a Wednesday for them.
That's literally this is why it's called the Mistake by the Lake, and unbelievable that city. That city just has so much balls. I don't understand it.
At least you can buy a house for the price of a VCR.
Literally.
I think the house might be cheaper. I think VCRs might be at they might be expensive at this point. They're probably pretty hard to find.
Oh yeah, they're like relics now. You can only find stuff. Okay, then the price of a DVD player or those relics too. Like I don't know what the fuck people have anymore to watch movies.
4K TV is like an $800 purchase now. That's what it is. So I'd say a 4K TV.
Okay.
Now, that was us talking about the Big T technology. As always, the 5-holers will always be diverse in issues such as the Big T. But, boys, this was a great episode. I'm glad to be back with you guys. As always, please look us up on Four Corners on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, our website. We are putting out YouTube videos now right when we send out our podcast. So please look us up. Please like, subscribe, download all our favorite podcasts, 5-holers, Face of the Franchise, Hoopin' and Hollerin', Free Therapy, Last Nice Guys, Bread and Butter, and Degenerates Are Us. And look up the 5-holers accounts on Instagram and Twitter for all the daily facts and factoids coming back for this season. Boys, any last words? No.
I got nothing.
Dead air, baby.
Yeah.
Zach, take us away, baby.
All right, boys. Why go bar down when you can hit the 5-hole? Aim low.
Woo!